The Elm Hill City Zoo is back, and today we'll build the entire facility for the largest lizard that lives on our planet, the Komodo dragon, inspired by the iconic Komodo Kingdom at the San Diego Zoo. This building will have 4 different sections and backstage areas, so that will certainly be a lot of work. I hope you guys are ready. Hello guys, this is Caesar Creates and welcome back to my channel. And it is so good to know that I can still do this. Yeah, it has been a while since I've talked to you guys, especially in one of my Planet Zoo speed builds. But it feels so incredibly good to be finally back. We have a longer video ahead of us. I have so much that I want to share with you guys. I am a bit rusty after all this time, so please forgive me if this voiceover will be a bit different than the ones that you were used to. But hey, we are back in the Elm Hill City Zoo, finally. I know that you guys have been waiting for this. And today we will be adding Komodo dragons to our zoo. I know that this might be a huge surprise if you've been following this series, but I will explain everything in a second. So let's briefly talk about what you can expect from this video. So today we'll build the entire facility for Komodo dragons in Elm Hill City Zoo. That will be located next to our reptile house that we've built quite a long time ago. When I finished the reptile house, actually a lot of you were kind of upset that I didn't add the Komodo dragons to it, but I had this plan for such a long time to build a second separate building just for Komodo dragons, the entire facility that will be just focused on this one reptile. And this idea came from me actually visiting the San Diego Zoo. It was almost 3 years ago. Oh my god, how fast the time flies. In there, I saw probably the best habitat that I have ever seen for Komodo dragons in any of the zoos that I have visited so far. The second that I saw this huge facility for Komodo dragons there, I just knew that one day I will have to build something inspired by this in a Planet Zoo, and this is what we are doing right now. In San Diego Zoo, it is actually called the Komodo Kingdom. It was opened in 2021, if I am correct. So it is quite a recent addition to the zoo. It is very modern. It actually has different sections for the Komodo dragons inspired by their different environments that they live. So there's one, I think, a mountain environment, there is a forest environment, and also a coastal one. And this is something that we'll also recreate in here. The whole building is very modern, and this is something that I also wanted to go for, because as I told you many times, I want the Elm Hill City Zoo to be sort of like a mix of the more classical architecture with some modern buildings that were built recently. Basically something like a very old city zoo located in Europe. For example, I recently visited Artist Zoo in Amsterdam, and this is totally something like this. So you have a lot of older buildings, but you also have a lot of those new ones built recently that are very modern, and I really like something like this. So that placement of the building here is actually perfect, because it will be located between the very classical reptile house and also the insect house that is also very classical. So I really like how the whole area looks when it will be finished. And after I will be done with this whole facility for the Komodo dragons, this whole corner of the zoo will be basically done, finished, and yeah, this side of the zoo will be finally complete. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. If you guys have been following this series, you know that I recently, or maybe not recently, but the last episodes of the Elm Hill City Zoo were focused around building the Latin America house in the South American section of the zoo. We basically added all of the outdoor habitats. The last one was for the giant otters that we moved from the other part of the zoo, and it was time for me to build the whole interior of this building. So this is what I did. I invested a lot of time and research and building, hours of building. I really loved how it was coming out. It was actually inspired by the building in the Central Park Zoo in New York City, the Tropic Zone. If you have been there, maybe you will remember this building. It is actually a huge walk-through jungle in the middle of the city, so it was perfect with all the indoor habitats for the animals that we added to this building, but also walk through a habitat for the sloths, and also I added a lot of those implied birds from the workshop, so it was like a huge indoor jungle for the guests with many levels, waterfalls, everything. I really spent so much time building this just to basically lose the whole save file. You guys know that we had some issues with the Elm Hill City Zoo save files in the past. Frontier was able to help me back then twice, I think, to restore the zoo so everything could work again. But this time, unfortunately, I don't know what happened, because several of the previous zoo file, save files that I was able to open previously are now completely corrupted. Something happened to them. This involves me, for example, building for the otters, for the ocelots. I think some of the files for the Saki monkeys as well got corrupted. I don't know why, but I am not able to simply continue building Elm Hill City Zoo after all the additions to the Latin America house. It is so weird. Basically, I'm able to open the zoo. The save file opens normally, and after a minute or two, the game just completely shuts down. There's no error or anything. The game just turns off and it's done. And yeah, it happened for all my recent save files. I tried contacting Frontier with this issue, but I didn't get a response. I am assuming that, they are not right now done completely with Planet Zoo 1. They are focusing on Planet Zoo 2, so they are not able to help me. They won't be releasing any of the new updates for Planet Zoo. I tried doing everything that I could think of, I don't know, upgrading my PC, trying different PCs, buying a new PC even, asking my friends to try to open it, asking different people, asking even different content creators, like for example Mr. Seamside, who you may recognize from Planet Coaster 2. He also tried to help with one of his friends that I think is also a developer or someone. They couldn't open it, so yeah, I basically lost all the hope. I think that there's something very wrong with this save file, and because I invested so much time and effort and everything into building the interior of this house, after losing this save file, I just completely lost all the will and all the happiness of playing this game. And I don't know, this made me a bit angry, this made me a bit sad, this made me want to stop this project. I was a bit disappointed, and I just hate wasting my time, and it felt like a huge waste of time that I invested so much into this series and into this and building this house, and it was all completely gone. They couldn't figure out what I would do next on YouTube, if I should start another series. I know how you guys love Elm Hill City Zoo, so it was a huge kind of a disappointment, and also I don't know how to describe this. I was basically maybe even burnt out with Planet Zoo, because I have been playing it for 6 years. I have been recording those videos for 5 years, building constantly in this game, and after all this time, suddenly something like this happens, and it kind of left me in this weird position that I didn't really know what to do basically with my channel, with also Planet Zoo 2 being announced, I knew that if I would start another series, it wouldn't be as long as I like. I didn't have an idea for another series. I didn't really want to start anything new. So I just focused on other games, like for example Jurassic World Evolution 3 that had so many new updates, new DLCs. I really enjoyed building there, and I sort of left Planet Zoo for a while. I must also say that for some reason I wasn't that excited about the announcement of Planet Zoo 2 at the beginning. I still felt like Planet Zoo 1 is a wonderful game that doesn't feel outdated for it being like 6 years old, and yeah, I thought that they could wait like 1 more or 2 more years for us just to enjoy, you know, the game without any new updates. I wanted to get into mods that I didn't have time for, you know, add some modded animals, for example, to Elm Hill City Zoo. On top of that, December is also a very busy time at work normally, and obviously we have Christmas, we have New Year's Eve. Normally I anyway do a break during this time on my channel. I don't upload anything because I simply don't have time for it. So this all combined sort of caused this huge break, and I feel like I actually needed it. I really needed it, because now I am coming back to you with a lot of will and a lot of motivation, and also this new found passion for animal zoos and building and all this stuff, that yeah, I really feel this fire under my butt to do something cool with this game, because I now am very excited for Planet Zoo 2. I don't know why it changed so much. Maybe it was because everyone like around is very excited for this. Also, my wish list for Planet Zoo 2 video did so well on YouTube. I wasn't expecting this at all. A lot of you guys really helped me to get excited about this with your comments. I also watched a lot of different videos by different YouTubers recently who talked about Planet Zoo 2, and also that helped me a lot. So yeah, I'm coming back to you with a lot of different ideas, with a lot of different, slightly different mindsets, and some changes that will happen. I really hope that this is still interesting to you guys and you're still watching. I'm sorry that I'm not describing much what is happening in the video, but I will definitely do that later, so stay tuned for that. It is very important to me to tell you, because I had so much questions about this, questions about why Planet Zoo was absent from my channel for such a long time, and questions about the future of the channel, so let's address all of that. So Planet Zoo is definitely coming back. What solution I found for Elm Hill City Zoo? As you guys can see, we are building in the zoo, so it's somehow was able to make a return. What I basically did was load into one of the very old files, maybe not very old, but we are definitely missing some of the recent habitats in here, and this is how I will build in the zoo from now on. So this means that sometimes you might see missing habitats in the background, but this was only the only way of me like making sure that we'll continue with this series. I already know that unfortunately we won't be able to finish it, given the time, given all the unfortunate events when it comes to the save file. I no longer am willing to make very big projects in this zoo, like very big houses. I wanted to build, for example, a tropical house. I wanted to build the whole primate section. This unfortunately won't happen because I'm simply afraid that I will start working on it and then the game will stop working again and I will lose all the progress, and again I won't be able to finish stuff like this. So we will focus more on individual habitats. I really wanted to finish the unfinished bits in the zoo. So for example, we are now finishing this whole corner. We will also finish things like, for example, the Mountains of Asia section. We will try to finish the petting zoo. We'll also focus on finishing the African section. So there's still a lot of very exciting animals coming to the zoo. But unfortunately, some of those bigger projects will have to be skipped because of the issues that I had. So I'm sorry if you have been waiting for those, but this is all that I can do for now. I of course wanted to do a big final tour of the Elm Hill City Zoo when before simply Planet Zoo 2 will be released. I don't know how I will tackle this because of course being able to build in some previous files, whenever I will load into them, some of the builds will be missing. Maybe I will just load in between them and then record the tour. We will see. So this is one of the changes, but other change, and this is something that might upset some people or might make some people happy depending of what you guys like. So I decided to go back to the roots. The roots being basically Planet Zoo. This is the game that I enjoy the most. This is the game where I think I shine the most and where I build the nicest things, in my opinion at least. So you can expect that Planet Zoo will be the primarily focus on the channel from now on. Besides Planet Zoo, Jurassic World Evolution 3 series will of course continue, but it will be like an addition. Something like this we did also when Jurassic World Evolution 2 was out, and yeah, I was also doing back and forth between Planet Zoo and Jurassic World Evolution 2, but Planet Zoo was, I think, more present on my channel, and this is something that I also want to do. And now, the biggest thing, Planet Coaster 2. I made a decision that Planet Coaster 2 will probably disappear from my channel. I know that this might disappoint some people because I know that some of you were huge fans of my Puerto del Sol. But let's face it, I don't have that much time to build in free games. Trying to keep up with all those different series on my channels kind of stressed me out because there's always people asking for a different series. Whenever I will upload a Planet Zoo video, people were asking for Puerto del Sol. Where I was uploading Puerto del Sol, people were asking for the Elm Hill City Zoo. And yeah, I just cannot make frequent uploads from, for example, Planet Zoo while also building in Planet Coaster 2 or Jurassic World Evolution 3. That's why one of those games had to go, and this was Planet Coaster 2. Simply because, of course, I am not a coaster person at all. You guys know that. I just really like Planet Coaster 2. I still really love it. But I love animals. I love zoos. I love building beautiful habitats and environments. And this is where I think I shine. And I know nothing about coasters. Nothing, really nothing. I rarely go to theme parks, like amusement parks and all this stuff. To be honest, I am not a huge fan of those. So yeah, I had to make this tough decision, and just I don't think that for now Planet Coaster 2 will be on my channel. Maybe I will have to do like a separate community post about this because I don't think that Planet Coaster 2 people will watch this video. I hope you guys will understand anyway. Maybe I will cover some news about the game from time to time, but I don't know if you'll be building in this game anymore. I want to focus on something that I absolutely enjoy and love, which is Planet Zoo and Jurassic World Evolution 3 that I also enjoy. But Planet Zoo primarily, especially that we have this huge, amazing year in front of us, 2026, where Planet Zoo 2 will be releasing. It will be huge for the channel, I already know. We will have a lot of news, a lot of different things to cover, so this will be definitely demanding. It will be also very exciting, and I know that a lot of people will return to Planet Zoo because of Planet Zoo 2 basically, so I really want to focus on that, and this makes me so excited, like really happy, and I have already so many ideas when it comes to my zoo that I will build in Planet Zoo 2, so yeah, can't wait for that. And yeah, this was my little announcement. Sorry for making it so long, but I really wanted to share this with you guys. When it comes to me returning to Planet Zoo, you can really expect new videos because I already finished this habitat that you can see here right now for Komodo dragons a while ago, and now I should be somewhere near, finishing the new habitat for the Desert Adventure Park, so it will be also out very soon. You guys could see that yesterday actually Goran uploaded his new video. I was a guest there. I was very honored to be invited there to see his African section being finished in his ski park, and this was also a huge inspiration for me and something that really after seeing what he did there, I had this huge drive just to, open Planet Zoo and build, because I was so inspired. So if you guys would like to check it out, I will put the link down in the description and on the screen. I am there in this video. I am just, being all the time very excited and very amazed. So if you like to hear all of that, definitely check this out. And also subscribe to Goran's channel, because his builds are so inspiring. And there's also one more announcement that I almost forgot about. The community zoo tours are also returning to my channel. I already have several zoos that you've sent me, so I cannot wait to check them out. I saw some bits and they seem to be very beautiful. So we'll also have a lot of different zoo tours here on my channel. So if you guys have a finished zoo that you would like to share with me, you can send the link to the zoo from the Steam Workshop through all my social media or my email, and I will be honored to tour your zoos. That is also so inspiring. Okay, but let's finally talk about our Komodo dragons and the new facility that we are building in the Elm Hill City Zoo. So as you already know, this whole building is inspired by San Diego Zoo. It is definitely more like an inspiration than an actual recreation. This was really nice for me to build after such a long break, because I had so many reference photos from both me visiting the zoo but also online. I also find a whole layout of this building that I will share right now on the screen that made this so much easier to build. Again, this is not an actual recreation one-to-one. I still did so many things according to my ideas, and I also really wanted to fit this build into the Elm Hill City Zoo. This is not a Southern California, we are still in Europe. So half of the speed build is basically building the building. So we are creating this whole very modern building that has different sections for the Komodo dragons. The interesting part about this is that the two of those sections are like an indoor section, so we'll have this more like arid one that we are decorating right now, and we'll also have like more forest one that you will see later. They are on both sides, and this is the actual interior of the building, but the guests are actually not entering the building itself to see the dragons. They are just walking in to this area in between those different sections that are still connected with the roof. So they are still under the roof, but they are outside, if you know what I mean. Oh, it's really been a long time since I have recorded those voiceovers, because I am forgetting all the words in English. So the guest area is basically outside, but it's still roofed, so if it's raining or it's a very warm day, the guests can still hide from the elements. There's like a little planter with the bamboo. The bamboo is actually sticking out of the roof. This is something very inspired by the San Diego Zoo. There are some benches for the guests so they can sit there and watch the Komodo dragons, and also some information signs so they can read about them, because those are very interesting animals that everyone seems to love for some reason. You guys, I remember before building the reptile house, the Komodo dragon was one of the most requested animals for this series, so I am very happy that I can finally bring it to you. It is actually my first time building for them on my channel. This is a base, sort of like a base game animal. It was in the deluxe edition of Planet Zoo. But yeah, we have it in the game from the very beginning, and I still didn't have any opportunity to build any of the habitats for them on my channel, so very excited for this episode actually. So let me explain how this whole building works. So you have those two indoor sections on both sides. In San Diego Zoo, one is for the male and one is for the female, and they both can actually meet for mating, so it is all connected. Actually, it is connected through the outdoor part, so they both actually have access to the outdoor parts, but only one of the outdoor areas is visible to the guests. So the Komodo dragon that lives on the right hand side in this more foresty section has the access to the coastal section that is outside with the bigger water section, and the other one has the access to the offshore area that is also outside, but the guests cannot actually see it. And if we want the Komodo dragons to actually breed during their breeding season, we can open all of this so they can have access to all the different sections of this entire facility, and they can meet, they can breed, they can have eggs, and so on. They are normally solitary, although I have seen them being kept in zoos in pairs, only very small groups, but in here we will have only 3. I actually wanted to add 2, but then I thought that it is actually quite a big facility and it kind of felt a bit empty, so I added 1 male and 2 females. Unfortunately, just as a lot of reptiles in Planet Zoo, Komodo dragon has a terrible traversable area, so unfortunately it is not able to fully cross from one section to another, because they cannot just cross through those small doors. Those are still huge doors, but unfortunately they cannot cross them. I didn't want to make them super unrealistic and make them huge, yeah, anyways, those animals are not moving that much in zoos, so them being in only several spots in this whole facility is kind of realistic, I would say. This is something that I actually didn't mention in my wish list for Planet Zoo 2. And by the way, if you haven't seen that video, I definitely would love to hear your feedback about what you think about my 25 features that I would love to see in Planet Zoo. I actually had more, but I didn't want to make this video too long. It was already almost 40 minutes or more than 40, I don't remember, but after recording this I was like, oh no, who will watch such a long video? And you guys surprised me as you always do, and yeah, this is such an amazing video when it comes to performance, so thank you guys so much. But there were more things that I wanted to share. I think that my initial list was 30 something features, but I wanted to make it more YouTube friendly, and I converted that to 25. But for example, collision on scenery items is something that we actually have in Jurassic World Evolution 3, is that you can turn on or off the collision of the some scenery items. So that means that the dinosaurs in that game can simply walk through some scenery items like they are not existing, and this would be so amazing for example some plants in Planet Zoo or some different small rocks, roots and stuff like that. I wouldn't mind the animals just going through them, and that would help so much with the traversable area for those animals. Although it was sort of like a recreation, and it was a bit easier to build, because I think recreations are so much easier to build in Planet Zoo, and this is something that I always tell you whenever someone is asking me how you can learn to build better in Planet Zoo. I always say that you should try to recreate some habitats from real zoos first before you will start going for your own ideas, because recreations to me personally are so much easier. Although it was sort of like a recreation, it still took so long. Oh my god, I was building this habitat for many hours. This initial speed build, although I wasn't recording all of this, was, I don't know, I think 1.5 hours, so I was able to cut out a lot, and you can definitely see that in the speed build. I am sometimes cutting things out if I am copying over and over something, so I didn't want to bore you guys. This video is so long anyway, but I actually saw that some longer videos are actually doing pretty well on YouTube right now, so that is very exciting to see. I actually also didn't include decorating the outdoor parts, you will see that all in the cinematic shots, but I did include decorating the indoor parts very different from each other. I thought that it would be nice to show you how I am doing more like an indoor arid enclosure and more tropical enclosure and this contrast between them. I made sure that all of the sections have things like, for example, heat rocks. One in the arid section is really nice. They all have like some water pools for the animals, of course some enrichment items, feeders and stuff. They both kind of have this background of the mat walls with the ledge so that the animals won't be able to climb on those mat walls, and they all have different like plants growing on them, but still I wanted to make the plant palette a bit different for these sections. And yeah, this is all when it comes to the speed build part of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope that you are happy that Elm Hill City Zoo is back on YouTube. Let's meet in the cinematic shots so I can show you guys around this new facility for the Komodo dragons. This took me so long to build, but I am so incredibly happy with the final result. Now that we've added the new Komodo dragon facility, this whole area of the zoo is finally finished. And I really like how this building blends in between the older reptile house and also the greenhouse for the butterflies and the entire insect building. This is definitely a more modern building, but this was my idea to build something that might have been built in the zoo recently. When it comes to the Komodo dragons, I just love them. I love seeing them in zoos, and also the model in Planet Zoo, although it is so old, looks really cool. Those are the largest lizards on our planet. They can grow up to 3 meters long and weigh over 70 kilograms. They also have an amazing sense of smell. They can smell food from up to 9 kilometers away. And they are quite dangerous. Not only they are very strong, they can actually knock down deer or person with their one swing of their tail, but also their bite is venomous. So they have venom glands inside of their mouth. So they usually just bite their prey and then follow the prey until it collapses. Quite a dangerous animal if you ask me. This building, as I already told you, is inspired by the Komodo Kingdom in San Diego Zoo. I know that some other YouTubers and content creators use this for inspiration as well. I can totally see why. This is probably the best Komodo dragon habitat that I have ever seen in my life. So even though I used this as the inspiration, I still did some adjustments and I tried to make it fitting to the Elm Hill City Zoo. Unfortunately, the front facade of this building is in the shadow all the time. This is how Planet Zoo works, and we cannot do anything about this. I cannot have all the buildings like facing in one direction. We have to have them tilted into different directions, and because of that, this building is totally in the shadows. But I think it doesn't take anything from the interiors. They still look really good with this lighting. We have one more slightly arid indoor area for the male Komodo dragon. We have the second one, which is slightly more tropical. And we also have the outdoor spaces. One is off-show and one is inspired by more coastal environments. So those are the environments that the Komodo dragons usually live in. And we also have some backstage areas. Of course, I had to add them. I am very happy with how this building has turned out. Unfortunately, as you guys already know, I had to change my plans for this series, but at the same time, I am quite happy because thanks to that, I was able to build this building, and I think that it looks really good. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I promise you that more episodes of the Elm Hill City Zoo are coming soon, but the next Planet Zoo video will actually be from the Desert Adventure Park. If you liked the video and would like to see more of my builds in Planet Zoo, definitely consider to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, ring the bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video, and leave me a comment down below and tell me what you think about this habitat. If you'd like to become a sponsor of one of the habitats in the Elm Hill City Zoo, you can do it by becoming a member of my channel with the join button down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!